Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on? Foul Mouth's on Patreon. As you can see, I got the Filthy Mouth Gamer with me right now.
Season ticket on a one-way ride. Asking nothing. Leave me be.
I can't even do that. Anyway, guys, we just figured we'd come on real quick, give you a quick update. We saw this shit about the sparring that was going on with McGregor and...
Wait, hold on a second. Don't say anything. I gotta do... I'm on a highway to hell.
Yeah, so anyway, out of the camp, the McGregor camp, in one of the biggest fights in history, there's been some rumblings coming out of there about him knocking down this professional boxer. As you can see, you got, what's this dude's name again? Paul
Malignaggi?
Paul Malignaggi, or whatever his name is. He more or less was, boxing this, sparring for the last 2 weeks here at McGregor.
Let me ask you a question. How many people, because he's from Brooklyn, how many people in his high school made black jokes with his last name? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know that happened. Italians in Brooklyn was saying shit like that.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Supposedly, a photo came out with McGregor standing over him while he's down on the ground. You could actually see the video. Fucking Dana White goes and tweets out, basically this first tweet right here, Mike.
Yeah, all right, listen.
Read that off, this first tweet.
We're going to do this in the angry Rocky voice. You ready? It's not nice to paint a pic that isn't true. This was a pushed out at sparring. Post the whole video, rounds 1 through 12, unedited.
Yeah, so basically he was pissed about it. He saw the Conor McGregor news post the picture of him on the ground during their sparring match, and Dana White basically was like, ooh, the power on McGregor, making it look like they knocked the shit out of this dude, got knocked the fuck out,
Right.
Which wasn't the truth. And of course, Paul took offense to that. He's an ex-champion. The guy's had a lot of professional fights. Do you remember his record? What it was?
Oh, I think he's
It's like 30.
38-8, and I think he had 7 KOs, and he got knocked out 5 times. But he was the welterweight champion. I don't know if it was WBA or whatever the fuck it was, but it was some fucking organization. He was the champion, but he was the champion. Doesn't matter what the fuck.
Yeah, he was a champion before this guy. So he basically, he's got a lot of pride. He just retired from boxing, and he got brought into the camp because he talked shit about McGregor. As soon as McGregor was going for his license there in California, he was like, hey, come and fucking fight me, man. I'll do a number on you. So McGregor kind of wanted to get revenge on him type of thing. So they decided, let's bring him in for the sparring and bring him into the camp. It's got to help us to spar with this guy. So he's a good barometer as far as where he is right now in boxing, McGregor and all that shit. So they brought him in, and obviously, the first match that these guys had, I seen the video. It's out on the internet. You can go see it anywhere, of the unedited version of these guys sparring together. And let me tell you something. This guy definitely does a good job on McGregor, and McGregor definitely didn't knock him out in that video that you see. But they made it look like that in the tweet, and there's no doubt about it. But what I saw when I watched these rounds, and you guys can go look at it too, this kid fought his ass off against McGregor. McGregor was fighting his ass off too. But let me tell you something. McGregor was landing left hooks on this dude that was shaking his face, okay? His fist looked like it was buried in his face at one point during these sparring matches. So McGregor was definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with. There's no doubt about it. I mean, now that doesn't mean I think the fight's going to go as good as everybody's saying, but it should go pretty good. His second tweet out was, the UFC has cameras all over the gym recording 24/7. The video, unedited of all the rounds 1 through 12 last night is out there for everyone to see. So he's basically telling people, hey, I didn't get knocked the fuck out like these assholes are saying I did. He did a pretty decent job against McGregor, which he did. He got some good shots in on McGregor. There's also another photo of McGregor standing with his arms to his back, and like kind of like letting this dude like throw a punch on him, get a couple of punches in there. So he's pretty boring.
This all
around.
came from Dana White, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It was kind of a revenge thing. This guy's playing with fucking like McGregor. Don't give a fuck, dude. He's just like, bring this guy in so I can beat his ass. He's not even thinking of the training aspect of it. You know what I mean? He's like, he wants to talk shit about me. Bring him in and I'll show him what I can do.
Well, you gotta remember, McGregor comes from one of the poorest neighborhoods in Ireland. He fought his way through the streets, through everything. So this is how. This is all he knows.
Yeah.
Is fucking is solving shit
It's
with his
fucking
fists.
and fighting. Fucking fight. You know what I mean?
Right.
Fucking fight. He had a oh shit, this shit's upside down. That's crazy. He had another tweet that we're looking at right now. He basically, he's pissed off about what fucking happened and what conspired from these guys and what they were saying, Dana White and all that shit. And I'd be pretty pissed too if they're trying to make me look like a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? And
yeah, it is. It's poor in taste to
it really is.
Put out sparring videos and shit. Dana White's a promoter though.
Yeah,
so
he is. That's what he's got to do, and that's his guy. McGregor's the guy who's going to make him this money. The third tweet that came out of Paul, he basically said, I came to help out this camp, not to be, exploited or fucked with. Now you're going to get the truth, right? Please post unedited video from Tuesday night, basically showing that he fought him pretty good. He not only fought him pretty good, but in his words, he actually beat his ass. If you look at this right here, he actually beat his ass. He says, I actually beat his ass 24 hours off a flight, LOL, which is why I'm saying post vid, try not to be too petty, but seems it's too late for that now. Bottom line, I mean, which it was already at that point. If they're gonna go and fucking say that he basically knocked you the fuck out and made you look like an idiot, I mean,
you know what's hilarious? Like back in the day, all this shit that we're talking about would be happening behind closed doors. Maybe a couple of things that happened in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But now all this bickering and shit goes on right on Twitter in front of everybody.
Yeah, everything's right out there for everyone to see, for everyone to read about and all that shit. And you got to read some of those posts underneath the what you read before about the post to.
Oh, well, matter of fact, it was replying to the one you just talked about where he was 24 hours off a flight.
Yeah.
This guy Tyler Peterson. I don't know if that's a fucking.
Yeah, Tyler Peterson.
He said, and I'm going to do it in the sarcastic Twitter skunt voice. Ready? Obviously, you don't release sparring videos in camp. You got touched up by a 0-0 MMA fighter trying to box. Your East Coast pride is stung. You know what I mean? Like that.
Man. Jesus Christ, man. I swear. Some people got big mouths behind the keyboard, like that guy who said something wouldn't last a fucking second in the ring with these guys, like he's on there talking shit like that. It's just fucking funny,
That's Twitter gives everybody a voice.
But I mean, this is one of the biggest fights ever. He did wind up releasing an overall statement, basically telling why he's leaving the camp and why he came there and blah blah blah. Filthy, go ahead and read that last statement by him.
Okay. The statement is as follows. I just wanted to clear the air. I am leaving the McGregor training camp today. I came with the best intentions and intended to help out. Just the chance to be a part of such a big event in this capacity excited me. I believe Conor and I have a mutual respect inside the ring, earned from each other with some good work over 2 sparring sessions. It's some of the stuff outside the ring, and some ways some things were handled in training camp that I didn't agree with that made me come to this decision. It's not my place to dictate terms in training camp. That is not mine. But it's my place to decide if I want to be a part of it. I will not give away anything tactical that I saw in 2 sparring sessions with Conor. How nice of you. For what it's worth, they have my word. The things that upset me, though, I will speak about in time. I wish Team McGregor well in the rest of their preparations, and look forward to getting my dick sucked in Vegas. No, that's not what he says. Look forward to being back in Vegas to work Fight Week on Showtime.
I mean, it just keeps adding to the lore of this fight. I mean, even the sparring matches between Conor McGregor and anyone else is it's just crazy. It's fucking crazy.
This is the interesting thing about these sparring matches.
Circus.
I learned recently is that, obviously they wear that headgear and shit.
Yeah.
But according to Rogan, which he knows a lot more about fighting than I do, the headgear can actually have you get more damage to your head than if you just didn't have headgear at all, because it creates like a leverage or punches and shit.
Yeah.
So this shit gets pretty hairy in sparring, and especially if two people have a chip on their shoulder like these two did, you get your fucking brains rattled. And this guy got knocked out. Malignaggi got knocked out five times.
Yeah. So I mean, he's got to have a little, something going on up there. You get knocked out like 5 times. But I mean, listen, it's just no matter what goes on in this, connected to this fight, even just sparring with somebody is controversial, and really they did sandbag this guy. He came in to spar with these guys to give them a good barometer, and they treated him like shit. The minute the guy slipped down in the ring, they fucking got to post it like he got knocked the fuck out, which is disrespectful. I don't blame this guy for coming back at them with these tweets and all that. I mean, it is fucking disrespectful to do that to somebody who comes into your camp and is going to try to, give you the best he's got to try to, help you out. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a little disrespectful in my book, I got to definitely say that. And you think the same, right?
Yeah, it's in poor taste. You know what I mean? It definitely is. It's you shouldn't do that. But like I said, Dana White is trying to promote this for his UFC or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he's gonna sell. Like, it's gonna make a big difference on how many they're gonna sell. But
no, I don't think so either.
There's a lot of shit that Dana White has said in the past and done that I haven't agreed with. Yeah. So it's not like the first time. Yeah. But I mean, listen, Dana White is responsible for the resurgence of the UFC in the early 2000s.
He is, man. I mean, you got to give him credit. He when he first started this, boxing people laughed at this guy. Invest your money in boxing, man. You don't know what you're doing going over and trying to buy a UFC.
Dana White actually boxed.
Yeah, no, I know. He was in the whole thing. He's learned, all that shit. He's been there, done that, I mean, he wasn't great or anything, but he's been there and he's done that. He knows what it takes to get in that ring and really give it all. What he's done with the UFC is night and day, and especially after 2 weeks from now, when the big fight rolls around, you're going to see UFC on the map, guys. I mean, even bigger than boxing. This is a win-win for the UFC. This is a lose-lose for boxing.
Yeah.
And this might be the death of boxing, to be honest with you guys. I want to thank the Filthy Mouth Gaming for coming hanging out with me doing this video for the Patreon family. Listen, last night's show was great. Insomniac episode 16. Go check that out on the Foul Mouths Network on YouTube. And shout out to the Corrupted Podcast, number 11 we did last night with the great Joe Cronin and Justin Bailey. Go check that out too. Shout out to Mr. Billy Ricky and Nat Ass Podcast. Guys, thank you so much for you here on the Patreon. And listen, we lost a couple of subs last night. Because,
And Patreons.
Yes, we lost 2 Patreons. And, we sometimes we say things, that not a lot of people, and...
We go places people don't want to go.
To tell you the truth, too, my wife was unsubbed from the channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was. She was unsubbed from it. So, guys out there, if you do hear this, and you might want to check the Foul Mouths subbed, if you guys are still subbed to us on YouTube, because sometimes it's dropping people who are subbed to us. I don't know what the fuck it is. A glitch in the system, call it. I don't fucking know what it is. But, yeah, check and see if you are still subbed to the Foul Mouths Network, and hit that bell, so you'll be alerted when we put videos out if YouTube decides to fucking alert you. But anyway, thanks, Mr. Filthy Mouth Gamer. We'll be back tonight, guys, with Game of Thrones, Round Table, and some other shit. And we want to give love to our Patreons here. All of our Patreons. Thank you so much, guys, for being on here, and I hope you enjoy this video. And like I said, we'll be talking to you guys soon, and peace.
Now I'm going to go spar with all your mothers.
Oh, Jesus Christ.